ألا أنبئكم بأكبر الكبائر. He said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't I tell you the three most major sins in our deen? The three most major sins. They say, yes, O Rasulullah, tell us. He said, الإشراك بالله وعقوق الوالدين وجلس وكان متكئا صلى الله عليه وسلم. He sat down, he was laying, and he sat down. And then he said, ألا وقول الزور, ألا وقول الزور, ألا وقول الزور. And the Sahabi قال كان يرددها صلى الله عليه وسلم وليته سكت. The three major sins, most major sins. First one we all know is shirk. Right after shirk is dishonoring your parents. That's how important it is, brothers and sisters, to honor our parents and to stick to them and be with them. I have to say something very briefly, especially we are here in this country. In our deen, in Islam, there is no such thing as freedom of speech. We have to know this, by the way. In our deen, there is no such thing as freedom of speech. Or I'm free to do whatever I want to do. Or democracy. The law of the shaitan, democracy, is not in Islam. Democracy is kufr, it's shirk. What does democracy mean? حكم الشعب بنفسه وبنفسه. The ulama have said. It's to rule ourselves by ourselves. What is Allah and the Prophet and the Quran? If we say, oh, I just want to say whatever I want to say. I'm free to say whatever I want to say. We have to teach our children this matter. Otherwise, your child will walk in front of you and he will tell you, I will say whatever I want to say. I mean, America is a free country. And this is the place we will teach our kids the correct deen and the correct sharia. Some brothers, they think sharia is to cut hands and to chop off heads. That's not what sharia is. It's way better than that. It's a huge subject. All our deen, the entire Quran, and the entire teaching of the Prophet ﷺ is our sharia. Which is the most beautiful thing. To respect your parents and to honor them. Now some of the parents, I feel bad for them, they're just afraid to just touch their kids. They're afraid to call 911. Wallahi, is a huge problem. Huge matter that we have to consider very seriously. To teach the first thing we have to do, like I said, is the tawheed. You can stop a child in here and we tell him, give me 20 attributes of Allah, he wouldn't know. Or the 3 types of tawheed. Only my students who I taught. Maybe some adults. What are the 3 types of tawheed they wouldn't know? How can we know and respect our fathers and parents while respecting Allah and His Messenger if you don't know the meaning of tawheed? We have to understand that, brothers and sisters. This is our deen. There is no zigzag in our deen. It's a straight line. When هذا صراط مستقيم, as Allah said in the Quran. One salat is mustaqim. That's the light. That's the nur. Otherwise, we will regret it in the future. This is the place where we teach our kids. Always bring your kids here. Now summertime is coming, and the fitna is coming. Do we want our daughters to wear bikinis and go to the beach? Do we want our children to go to the beach and wear tiny speedos and swim around? No, it's haram in our deen, so we should teach them that. And there is no spoiling my child in Islam. We think Omar spoiled Omar, is his son? He spoiled him? He taught him the deen. It's all about akhirah, so he can be a man. He can be a man. Another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, that 3, they would never enter the Jannah. Is that the youth, the one who's not jealous about his family. How come someone can see his wife or his daughters walking around with no hijab and wearing bikinis and swimming with the kuffar in the beach? And the la'anat are coming down with the cursing. You are being cursed and she's being cursed. Oh, she's very young. She's only 6 or 7. It's okay. Well, she will be 14, 20, and she will get used to it and she will never wear hijab again. Because you started that habit. Some of the brothers, they say, may Allah forgive them. Why would we come to summer to the masjid? Summertime is for fun. I'm not saying fun is haram in our deen. It's not. There are many parks we can go without seeing the fitna. Allah said in the Quran, سيحوا في الأرض. I used to travel, mashallah, with the scholars. We go to the mountains, we hike, we go to the beach, alhamdulillah, but only men and women. We have to teach our children these things. So they will grow up learning their deen. And they will respect you more. They will respect you more. Oh, my father, alhamdulillah, he taught me the right way. They will say that to you. Otherwise, they will come against you. Allah, he will come against you. As the parents, when they grow up and hang out with the evil teenagers in high school, and they will drag them away to use drugs. And go astaghfirullah and commit zina. And don't become alcoholics. This is not just for Sunday school. Our masjid is 24/7. Bring your children here, sit down with them. We have to have programs that has to do with the Quran and teach the Sunnah of Rasulullah in this summer. Instead of doing haram things. I just have to advise and remind you, because the reminder will benefit the believers. And I remind myself before reminding you. Because I love you on the sake of Allah, and you are my brothers and you are my sisters, and I have to advise you. And this minbar, I will be asked in front of Allah at the Day of Judgment. For whatever I say. Because I have to say it, and I must say it, otherwise Allah will judge me. Oh Mu'adh, why didn't you tell them? Because you know. And I don't have to tell you, most of you, mashallah, are smart and well educated. And know from right from wrong. But there is no action, that's the problem. We have to act upon it with no fear. And sisters, wear the hijab wherever you walk. Don't fear anyone except Allah. Why would you fear? Some sisters, they fear to wear hijab. Why would you fear to wear hijab? Allah is protecting you. The angels are protecting you. Wear hijab. Wear a long garment. Wallahi, I know an American girl who went to the university. And she saw these two Muslim sisters. One of them was a niqabi, all covered. You cannot see her face. May Allah bless them. And one, she was with hijab, she showed her face. The long garment, mashallah, they don't wear pants or tight jeans or shirts. The correct way of hijab is Allah saying in the Quran. She walked to them, two of the girls, Americans. And they talk to them and they say, I'm very curious about you Muslim women. Why are you wearing these things? So they told her, Allah is protecting us from the calamities of the shaitan. That touched her heart. And so she said, Allah is protecting us. She went online, she looked for Islam, she started researching. A month later, they took Shahada. A month later, they took Shahada, both girls, American, because they like the hijab. So sisters, I advise you. I advise the parents, because Allah will judge you in the Day of Judgment. Teach your children the deen. And if you don't know, ask the people of knowledge. There's nothing to fear in our deen. We have to be serious. We have to take things seriously. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge us forcefully in the Day of Judgment. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma hasibna bi'afwik, wa la tuhasibna bi'adlik. Oh Allah, judge us with your afu, or be merciful towards us. But don't judge us with justice. If Allah judge us with His justice, we will be gone a long time ago in hellfire. Seek refuge to Allah from that. But He is the most forgiving, and He is the most merciful. If a judge tells us there is 99 mercy in the Day of Judgment, only one mercy in this dunya, we only hope for Allah to enter us the Jannah, and to forgive our sins, and to guide us. I will mention one last thing, is how do we respect our parents. Is that some of the ulama, they made some notes. And they say obeying them, as long as they don't want you to order something and disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and present and submit to their orders before doing the nafilah or the sunnah. You were doing the nafilah or the sunnah and your mother is calling you in the kitchen, you have to go and answer her. You are reading the Quran, put the Quran away, go and answer, respond to your father. Whatever you do, go and respond to your father. Go respond to your mother. They are first before the nafilah or the sunnah. If it's mandatory, and then the ulama have said, finish, unless it's not an emergency, finish the mandatory first. Finish the mandatory, meaning the salah. Now spend your wealth on them. Mandatory upon us. To spend our wealth on the father. When they say whether they have or not. Whether they have or not. Your parents will never ask you, please hold the baby. Hold them and do takbir and istighfar. That you spend the wealth of your parent is mandatory. Whether they have or not. And the other thing is, if they crave something, if your mother truly craves something, or your father truly craves something, really wants him, it's mandatory upon us to give it to him. To give it to him. Some of the father will say, or mother, oh, my son, I want this. Oh, my mother, I cannot afford it. I don't have it now. Bring it to her and give it to her, whatever you can do it. So you can make your mother happy. Maybe that thing you're going to give to your mother, or that thing you're going to give to your father, will be the reason for you to enter the Jannah. Wallah, that one thing you will give to your father, if a prostitute, she watered the dog, and Allah enter her the Jannah, what if you do that to your parents? What if you give to your parents? What if you give to your mother, if she truly needs you? Allah can forgive all your sins and enter you the Jannah because of that one act. The sixth is the exaggeration in being dutiful to them. Exaggerating being dutiful for them. Always be there for them. And servicing them. Now, you have to use a good behavior and manner with your fathers. Now, don't raise your voice. Don't stare at them. Don't call them by their names. Say Abi or say Ummi. Say father or say mother. Don't call them by your names. No, their names. Walk behind them, don't walk in front of them. Sunnah, walk behind your father. Walk behind your mother. Don't walk in front of them as a respect. And I will say the hadith of Abu Hurairah in that. Now be patient if they tell you something you don't like. We ask Allah to give us patience. Some of the children, the parents tell them something and hurt them, they become angry. And they close and they lock themselves in the bedroom. Don't do that. Take it easy on yourself. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan ar-rajim. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan ar-rajim. Go and make wudu. Go pray to rak'ah. No matter what your mother told you. No matter what your father told you. Do it. And be patient. If it has to do with the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the opening to the Jannah. Now, this last thing I will share with you is that Nabi Ghassan al-Dabi kharaja yamshi bidar al-harra wa abuhu yamshi khalfa. That this tabi'i, his sahabi, he was walking and his father was walking behind him. And Abu Hurairah, he saw that. فقال من هذا الذي يمشي خلفه قلت أبي. لو قال أخطأت الحق ولم توافق السنة. That he said to Abu Hurairah that you are wrong. You are wrong. You did not obey the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now he told them, لا تمشي بين يدي أبيك. Do not walk in front of your father. This is Abu Hurairah telling this man. Do not walk in front of your father. He said, walk behind him. أو عن يمينه, or on his right. Walk on his right, that's the sunnah. Walk on his right, or walk behind him. ولا تدع أحد يقطع بينك وبينه. And if you're walking, do not let someone come between you two. Or if you're walking and somebody is walking, do not let somebody come between you two. Stop. That's as a respect of you and your father and a close bond between you two. Now, ولا تمشي فوق إجار أبوك تحت. If he's living and he's downstairs or you're living upstairs, do not bother him walking and he can be bothered and he's sleeping at night and you are bothering him. You want some rest, leave him rest. ولا تأخذ عرقا أي لحم مختلط بعظم نظر إليها أبوك فلعله قد اشتهاه. If you are eating together in the table and your father looked at something that he craved, don't take it and eat it before him. Let him enjoy it first. Now in our time, at the kitchen, the poor mother, she's in the kitchen preparing food, and the children, the father at the table, and the mother comes back and everything is gone. She hasn't even eaten anything yet. It's not the sunnah, brothers and sisters. It's to sit all together and eat all together, and your father eats first, and your mother eats first, then you. See how Islam is teaching us how to respect our parents? We thank Allah for Islam. It's a huge blessing that we don't realize until we read and study and seek knowledge. That's our problem. We don't seek knowledge. If we seek knowledge, our iman is going to be increased. Our community is going to be blessed. And the Islamic Ummah will always be victorious. Because ignorant, go with the shaitan. That's what the shaitan wants us to be. Ignorant. And follow the Westerns. Follow the Westerns. Oh, they are, mashallah, developed countries. They are rich. We forgot about our deen. Forgot about our sahaba. Forgot about the tabi'in. Because they are the ones who were victorious. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. Another thing, the hadith of Ibn Umar, the most important thing, he said, إِبْكَاءُ الْوَالِدَيْنِ مِنَ الْعُقُوقِ. If you make your father or mother weep or cry, it's dishonoring your parents. Another hadith is a major sin to make your father or mother weep or cry. Major sin. If we did it, it's Allah to forgive us. Oh Allah, forgive our sins. Oh Allah, we are weak. Forgive our sins. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة